And then, and we got one of these ultrasounds of my little boy Colby, and he was really tiny in her womb. He was only about as tall as your cell phone. But then you zoomed in on his little face, and this is what he looked like taking a nap in my wife's womb 5 months before he was even born. And like, do you get the point? That my boy's existence depended on a choice his brave mother made back in high school to turn her life around. And when we got married, yes, I was a virgin when we got married. And you couldn't have paid me $1 million to give to anybody but my bride. Now, she was not a virgin, but she's worth waiting for me, and she knew it. I would have waited for her until I was 50. She started over. In a lot of ways, I did too. We don't want to end up divorced. So we did things to decrease your divorce rate. First thing, wouldn't live together before we get married. You know how couples do that today? They shack up, cohabit, play house, test drive each other, and they marry. How are those marriages doing? They're twice as likely to end in divorce. So why do they do it? They say, we need to see if we're compatible with each other. Dude, trust me on this one. If you're a guy and she's a girl, you are not compatible. I figured that out so fast. We get back from our honeymoon, she moves all her stuff in my bathroom. Do you know what happens when a girl gets in a guy's bathroom when you get married? It's called a hostile takeover, all right? Like, guy's bathroom's perfect. We have soap, shampoo. She moves in. I counted one morning. She had 24 bottles of different things in the shower. She's got like pumice foot polish and like kneecap remover, and she's got like this, you know, like body wash, like exfoliating oatmeal apricot kiwi body wash with pork chop and applesauce and like all in salad dressing. And they got all this junk, man. She got this bags of stuff. One of the bags said, what's it say? Lemon sage body butter. I'm like, dude, what is that? Like, guys aren't in this. Like, how many of you guys have body butter? And well, don't answer the question, but the point is that you're not going to be compatible in marriage, and that's because girls are weird and guys are entirely normal, but that's obvious. But successful marriages aren't because you're perfectly compatible, but you know how to love each other through the incompatibilities. And when it comes to living together before we get married, I mean, girls think about it. I mean, girls, you think real hard. You girls go on one date with a boy and he's a jerk. Okay, breaking up's easy, one date. Okay, date a guy for 6 months and break up. Okay, that's harder. Yeah, now you sleep with them, now you move in with them, and then it dawns on you he's not the right one for you. Do you have any idea how hard it is to let go when you've given away so much? Girls don't want to. They want to stay put, fix the relationship, but it's done before it has a chance to begin. And people tell me, oh, come on, if you want to buy a car, don't you test drive it before you pay the money? Yeah, you do. And what do you do with that car? In 5 years, a better looking one comes out. You dump the old model, you get a new one. You can do that with your spouse too. You test drive things, not people. So first thing is we didn't shack up. Second thing is we didn't sleep together before we got married. If I had sex with Kristalina before I married her, I'd be lying to her. My body would be telling her one thing. Oh, I've given myself completely to you. I'm all yours. But if I'm not her husband, the embrace is a lie. This movie came out. This guy had sex with Cameron Diaz. Afterwards, she says to him, don't you know when you make love to a woman, your body makes a promise to her whether you do or not. Promise of sex is I'm all yours. And if they're not married, it isn't true. And some guys will tell me, but what if it's not like that? Some cheap one-night stand, you're drunk all over her. What if you really care about this girl? You both talked about it. You both feel ready for it. How come you can't sleep with her if you really love her? Really love her? What's it mean to love her? You do what's best for her. Really? Best for her to wake up tomorrow? Am I pregnant? Is my mom going to find out? I spoke at a high school in Texas. They had 87 girls pregnant on campus. That didn't include the junior high. Brought the number of pregnancies over 100. But here's the question. How many pregnancies do you think that school would have if it were the guys who would get pregnant? Girls, wouldn't it be neat? Just 1 month of the year. If guys could get pregnant, I mean, man, how things would change. Guys would be like, it is National Abstinence Awareness Month this month. I've got my pledge card, my purity ring right here. You know, I mean, everything would be different. Relationships, dates, prom. Oh, prom night would be different. I mean, girls, go there with me. Prom night, hotel room, football player with a girlfriend. She starts flirting about sex. He'd be like, I'm not ready for sex. Coach would kill me if I got pregnant on the football team next year. I can't run for touchdowns like that. That's not going to work. They let her take the risk any night of the week. And some guys will tell me, oh, but I'm telling you, I really love this girl I'm sleeping with. If a guy loves a girl he's sleeping with, how come if they're in bed together at her house and her dad comes home, the guy will jump out of like a 5-story window rather than face the dad? This happened to my friend John in high school. He's over at my friend Michelle's house. They're up in her bedroom messing around. Now, they weren't even supposed to be seeing each other. Her dad is supposed to be out of work. He comes home early, sees John's car out front, boom, bust the door down. They hear him coming upstairs. My friend John freaking out because he's trapped. There's nowhere to go. And he's like, Michelle, where can I hide? In the closet, in the desk, in the microwave, there's nowhere to go. And he looks, Michelle's bed, it's like 6 inches off the ground. So he's like, honey, I'm going under there. And he dives under the bed and he wiggles under the mattress and he's like, and the bed's like moving up and down in his chest. And the dad breaks the door down, boom, where's John? Now, Michelle's smooth. She's like, John who? And like, sweetheart, the bed's levitating behind you. There's a clue. So dad came up to the bed, looks underneath it. Yeah, my friend John is on the floor in the corner, shivering like a rat under the bed. It's like, what is he doing there? I mean, if he really loves this girl, why does he know, boy, you better hide from the man who loves her the most? Because he knows in the depths of his heart, this has nothing to do with love and sacrifice. It's about lust and pleasure. Because if it were about love, you know how proud he'd be to show the father how he loves the daughter. But as it is, he hides. Why is her dad like that? So tight and protective? Because he's not naive. He knows the price she's going to pay. Check this out. They studied here 10,000 girls. When a girl starts having sex, what happens in her life? They found if a girl starts having sex when she's 12, about 7th grade, on average, those girls go on to sleep with about 21 different men in their lifetime. If a girl starts having sex in 8th grade or freshman, she'll probably sleep with about 14 different guys. Sophomore, junior, it's 8, senior, it's 7. Numbers go down according to how long you wait. But the sooner the girl starts, unless she stops, she becomes more likely to have more breakups, STDs, out-of-wedlock pregnancy, become a single mom, live under the poverty level, have a divorce, have an abortion, be depressed. It goes on and on. So the longer a girl waits for sex, the happier she'll be. It doesn't mean you'll have some terrible life, you're not a virgin. All this means, how can a guy look at this and say, oh, I love my girl so much, I can do this with her? And with Crystal and I, this is not why we save sex for marriage. You think we practice chastity because of this? It's like, well, honey, I'm afraid of increasing your rates of living under the poverty level, honey. We certainly can't do that tonight. I know. The reason we waited is simple. It's because I love her. And love can wait to give, but lust can't wait to get. If you're sexually active right now, or you're doing sexual stuff, take it out. See if it's real love. We did a big public high school, Michigan, 1,000 freshmen, 1,000 sophomores. After the assembly, the senior runs in. He's all ticked off. He's like, dude, who told my girlfriend all about chastity? I was like, me. Man, I go, what's the matter? Turns out he's a senior, his girlfriend's a freshman. He was one of these older guys who doesn't have enough social skills to date a girl his own age, so he tries to get with the young ones. And what's the deal with you girls and older guys? I mean, how many of you girls are 16 years old? Put your hands up, 16-year-old girls. Put your hands up, put them up high, keep your hands up. How many of you, you're a boy, we'll work on that later. Keep your hands up. How many of you girls are currently pursuing a 13-year-old boy? Well, I'm proud of you. Now you have issues. Now, how come girls laugh at that? But if a guy's older, she doesn't think twice. First reason it happens is girls mature faster than guys do. I know you girls are thinking, well, that's a shocker. But think about it. Look at a 13-year-old girl. They're sitting at home, tonight. They'll be texting each other. I want a relationship where I can communicate about feelings and friends and shoes and emotions and fine. Look at a 13-year-old boy. He's not there. He's not even close to being there. 13-year-old boys, they sit at home by themselves and they're like, like make noise in my armpits. Fascinating. And that's fine. I still do that. But I taught my wife how to do it. But the thing is that 13-year-old girls typically get bored of the 13-year-old guy. But then along comes Mr. Senior, the freshman, college guy, a high school girl. First thing she thinks, he's older than me, he's more mature, and he likes me. This is exciting. Little she know it. All the guys know it. The younger she is than you, the more easily she gives in to your sexual desires. She's afraid of getting rejected. I'll bet you girls whatever you want. Most of the time what's going on right here, this girl is looking for the love she never got from her own dad, but she's not going to find it in the arms of another man. From the time you girls were 2, you wanted to know, Daddy, am I beautiful? Do you love me? Do you want me? Are you going to be here for me? Do you even notice me? Girls, look, I'm sorry. If your dad is absent or he's abusive in your life, you'll go in the world and the question's not answered. Older guys show up. Hey, you're beautiful. Yeah, I want you. Feels like it's making up for this missing love. I saw it this last summer. I'm putting my little daughter Mary to bed. She's 5 years old. I'm kneeling next to her bed, just talking about her day. I go to give her a hug goodnight, and when I go to hug her, she won't let go. It's like a minute, 2 minutes. She won't let go. I can feel her 5-year-old heart beating on mine, her breath on my cheek. I just give her a big squeeze. She lets go, and she said, wow, Dad, that was a lot of love. I'm like, you bet, girl. And then the next night, I gave her another big hug. She said, Dad, your breath smells like dead frogs. And then the next night, she's like, Daddy, what if your eyeball fell out? And I'm like, what is that? But I saw it the first night. Her precious 5-year-old heart like a sponge just awaiting the love of the Father to fill it up. If that's not filled to the brim with authentic love at home, that heart goes out in the world starving and willing to settle for lust because, man, at least you feel wanted for something. And these poor girls, they haven't heard the boy's lines before. Know the number one thing he'll say to get you in bed? I love you so much. And you know I would never pressure you to do anything sexual that you're not comfortable with. We can just wait until you feel ready. I respect that. And she thinks, oh, you see, he's so sweet. If you watch it, he'll sexually take from her all she's willing to give. He doesn't guard her innocence. He's wearing it down. And her girlfriends tell her, can't you see he's bad for you? It's like she's deaf. She's like, I know he has problems, but he smells good. I can't break up with him. I don't know what to do. And she stays put and she gets burned, man. But when it's real love, it'll bring you closer to everybody who loves you, your family, your friends, God. When it's not real love, you just get plucked away from all of them. And you remember that guy ran on the auditorium? Who told my girlfriend about abstinence? I go, me, what's the matter? I said, man, he said, I just saw my girlfriend in the hallway after your talk. She looked all happy, but now she won't have sex with me anymore. I want to find out what happened. I said, well, you could sleep with her again one day, marry her. He was like, oh. I said, isn't she worth waiting for? He said, no. It's the love test. You want to know a boy loves you? Here's your chance to find out. And you know what? Sometimes he does. Cincinnati, big football player came up. He said, Jason, your talk got done an hour and a half ago. He said, I went back to class. I couldn't hear anything the teacher was saying. He goes, yeah, look, I'm having sex. He said, I'm sleeping with the girl at the university, a college girl. And he goes, but I love her. He's like, I know I love her. And he's like, man, I know we shouldn't be doing this stuff behind her dad's back. There's no honor in that. And to show her I do love her, this is what I did for her after your talk. And he opened up his notebook, and there's a piece of paper filled front and back with his handwriting. And all it said at the top was 100 ways to start loving Kelsey without having sex. He emailed me 3 days later. He said, I'm almost done with the 100. I'm going to make it 1,000. Thanks. This will make a difference in the long run. Can you imagine the stability of that boy's marriage? Knows 1,000 ways to love and sacrifice for a woman before sexual intimacy. The problem is, when you get the sex first, it often covers up an absence of love which utterly failed to develop. And with love, I promise you girls, a boy one day is going to say, girl, if you love me, if you really love me, you give it to me. You do it with me if you love me. Girl, if he loved you, he wouldn't be asking for it. And if you love him, you can't give him what he wants because you're afraid he'll break up. It's not love. It's insecurity. Love doesn't give people what they want. I came downstairs looking for my kids once. I'm like, hey, guys, where are you? Silence. I'm like, come on, it's not funny. John Paul, Colby, Mary, where are you? Silence. Now, when my kids are quiet, it means they're either sleeping or doing something illegal. Those are the only options we have on the table. I know they're up no good. I look in the kitchen, the freezer's open, there's a gallon of ice cream missing from the freezer, and I'm like, yeah, I know who that is, Colby. I'm like, Colby, I know where he is. I go in the kids' playroom, there's a big slide in there. I didn't look underneath the slide, sure enough, there he is, completely naked, eating the gallon of ice cream out of his lap. I was like, oh, El Gordo, give it to me. And he's like, oh, here comes Dad. I grab his fat little ankles. I'm dragging on his butt on the floor. He's still scooping it in, sliding on the floor. I pull it away. I'm like, give that to me. He pulls it back. He's like, you don't love me. I'm like, I don't love you? You're lactose intolerant, okay? Boy, you'd be on the toilet for a week if I let you eat that much, man. Of course I love you. Because I love you, you just can't have what feels good. It's just not good for you. Same principle about absence, love. Why do you think I waited 27 years for my wife? Love. You think we waited for any other reason? You think we waited because, like, I'm afraid of sexually transmitted, oh, I'm afraid of gonorrhea, I'll be abstinent tonight. You think that motivated us? You think we're 3 days away from our wedding still practicing chastity and thinking, well, we can't have sex, we're going to get pregnant, die of an STD, and go to hell. We can't do that. And like, look, pregnancy's real, hell's real, STD's real. Perfect love, though, should cast out all fear. Because if you can just get this, that purity is not following all these rules so you don't go to hell, it's wanting heaven for the person that you love. If you can understand, as a single person, abstinence is a greater expression of love than making love itself, because you're doing what's best for the beloved and not just what feels good in the moment. And so that's the second thing we did. We saved it for marriage. And one of the beauties of this self-control, you don't even have to worry about birth control. Even in marriage, no way would I put my wife's body in that junk. How disrespectful. What's her fertility? Some disease? I got to give her some pills and drugs to make her more sexually available for me? It's messed up. Girls aren't told the truth about birth control today. Doctors never say, hey, sweetie, here's your birth control pills. Oh, forgot to tell you that if you take the birth control pill, it will increase your risk of developing breast cancer. Some doctors are like, that's not true. The pill in breast cancer, it's not true? Huh, it's interesting. The World Health Organization says it's true. The Mayo Clinic says it's true. The companies that make the birth control pills admit it's true. But they don't tell the girls that. They say, well, if you don't want the pill, we can just give you this shot, Depo-Provera. And before they stick the needle in you, make sure they tell you the company that makes Depo has been sued for more than $700 million because it thins out the girl's bones. They have girls in America, 20 years old, of the bones of a 60-year-old woman in their body because they took Depo for too many years as a teenager. In California, if you're a child molester or rapist, you know what they do to you? They put you in prison where you belong. Now they punish you when you're there. According to the California government website, it says sex offenders in California now may be punished by Depo-Provera treatment. And after parole, they shall continue receiving injections till the treatment's no longer necessary. They inject child molesters with girls' birth control in California. Why? Because it'll reduce his desire for sex. Well, you know who they're not giving it to anymore? Dogs. Veterinarians refuse to. They said it's not safe enough for house pets. But they'll give it to girls for birth control. Big thing they push now is a birth control patch. Little sticker goes on. Hormones go through your skin. Killed more than 24 women so far. Who cares? The company that makes it earns $1 billion a year in birth control sales. And they said, well, if you don't want that, we got a new one for you girls, Implanon. It's a plastic stick about this long, just thin like a matchstick. They just cut the girl's arm open, slide it under your skin, sew it shut. It sinks hormones into your body for years so you don't get pregnant. And if you're interested in that, I've got the information that comes with it. It says, ladies on Implanon, read the fine print. Call your doctor right away. If you start coughing up blood, you go completely blind or unconscious. Like, what? Like, how's she supposed to make the phone call? Has anyone seen my cell phone around here? Yeah. Coughing up blood. What was so wrong with her fertility in the first place? Your fertility is a gift. It's not some kind of disease. I asked a bunch of high school guys once, hey guys, what's the #1 sexually transmitted disease? And one guy's like, ooh, I know, pregnancy. I'm like, no. I'm like, kids are not bacteria. I mean, fatherhood is the greatest gift, joy I've ever had in my life. And you might think, well, look, I'm glad you like being a dad, but seriously, being a dad in high school, you think that's a lot of fun? I know. One guy came up after my talk and said, Jason, we have to talk. I said, what's going on? He goes, I found out today I got a girl pregnant. I'm like, okay, well, what's the situation? What's going on? He goes, you know the real problem here? He goes, I hate this girl. I'm like, what? He's like, I hate her. What were you doing with her in the first place? You hated her. He said, honestly, he said, she kept bugging me to have sex with her. I wanted to just get her off my back, so I did it with her. Now she's pregnant and wants to abort the kid. I don't know what to do. I don't believe in abortion, but she wouldn't be a good mom anyway. She can't even clean her own room. I'm sitting there like, whoa. 1 minute, he's having a beer, thinking he's just hooking up with some random girl, but the two of them are toying with the well springs of human life. And who pays the biggest price? It isn't him or the girl. It's the baby that doesn't even have a chance to live. So they'll say, girls, you see that? That's why we don't want you getting pregnant. Go on birth control. You won't get pregnant. It doesn't work like that. Hormonal birth control inhibits your ovulation, meaning sometimes you'll ovulate, sometimes you don't. You know some birth control pills today let you ovulate more than 60% of your menstrual cycles, meaning you can be getting pregnant half of the year, but you don't know it. Because the hormones thin out the inside of your uterus, so if you do get pregnant, the baby tries to attach in your womb, it's too thin to receive the nourishment, and the baby's aborted when he's about a week old before you knew you're pregnant. Your period comes, you'll never knew that was a miscarriage. Did they tell the girls that? Did they tell the guys this? Wait a minute, you mean if I'm having sex with a girl on the pill, I could already be a dad having aborted kids we never knew he conceived? Doctors don't have to tell you this, although it's sitting on every doctor's desk and the physician's desk reference. What they tell you instead is you need birth control. Do you have painful cramps? Go on the pill. You got bad acne? Go on the pill. You got ovarian cysts? Go on the pill. You got a bad hair day? Go on the pill. They give it out like Flintstones vitamins. 4 doctors in a row told my wife she needs the pill for medical reasons, and there's nothing wrong with being on it for that. But we knew some side effects. We asked a world-renowned gynecologist, how many girls need the pill for medical reasons? He said, thankfully, virtually none. We have all the treatments and medicines today. And he healed my wife without the pill. She's been perfectly fine ever since. And if you're wondering, well, where are these doctors? My doctor put me on the pill. At the end of the talk, I'll point you to a website where you and your family can find these doctors nationwide. And if Crystal and I want to plan how many kids we have, man, we listen to the church. We use natural family planning, NFP, 99% effective, no side effects. There's wisdom in the church. But I think the biggest lie we get fed that's out there is safe sex. I was in Michigan. I asked 10,000 students, what's the #1 sexually transmitted disease? They didn't know. Philadelphia, I asked 19,000. They didn't know. 3 weeks ago, I was in Honduras. They didn't know. Tegucigalpa, San Pedro Sula. They didn't know. I've asked students that question. In South Africa, England. I've asked them in Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Belize. Nobody knows. They're like AIDS, chlamydia, syphilis, herpes. There's always a guy in the corner. He's like, crabs. No, it's not crabs. But what is it? It's not AIDS, man. The #1 STD has killed more women than AIDS has, but they don't want to talk about it. It's not herpes, not chlamydia. Those are scary for girls, because when girls get this stuff, most girls don't know. They feel fine, they look fine. Man, problem is, you could sleep with the boy when you're 15, get chlamydia, you don't know you have it. Then you get married when you're 24, try to have a baby with your husband. The disease could have taken away your ability to have kids. This mother came up to me. She said, Jason, will you tell those teenagers about me? I'm like, yeah, what? She said, Jason, I got married as a virgin to a man who'd been sexually active before we met. But she said, when we got married, my husband honestly did not know. He was asymptomatic, which means you don't show any symptoms. She said, on our honeymoon night, my husband honestly didn't know he was infected with herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and human papillomavirus, and he had no symptoms. So she said, we got married. I got herpes. I had 2 babies. They're infected with herpes for life now. Gonorrhea and chlamydia scarred my fallopian tubes. I'm sterile. We're not going to have any more kids now. HPV caused cervical cancer. I'd have an operation on that too. You know what her husband's thinking? Sleep around beforehand? It's all good. No one's getting hurt. And who pays the price? His wife, his kids. Kids he'll never have because he killed his wife's fertility. The number 1 STD is what she had, called HPV, human papillomavirus. 1% of sexually active people get genital warts from it. Most people don't get that. They think they don't have it. But it can still cause cervical cancer in girls. So they came out with vaccines like Gardasil. All these girls getting Gardasil now, thinking you're not going to get HPV. Gardasil prevents 4 types of HPV. Great. The problem is there's more than 40 different types that are out there. Your risk of cancer goes down. You can still get cancer from other types. This thing is getting so widespread. Girl, email me. She said, Jason, you know I told you I slept with that guy. She said, Jason, he told me he gets tested for STDs every month and he's clean. But she said, now I got the call from the clinic and I got HPV from him. The guy's a jerk and a liar. I emailed her back. I said, look, in his defense, he's probably telling you the truth because what they don't tell guys at these clinics is there is no clinical HPV test available to the public for men right now. So the guys get tested and think they're fine, and they're passing around like crazy. How many girls are infected? Honestly, it's pretty difficult to believe. A Journal of Gynecology studied high school virgin girls. 242 girls, never had sex before. How many of these girls got HPV from the first boy they slept with? 46% of them. Every other girl in the study got it from her first sexual partner. Good news is that this will usually go away on its own and it won't cause big problems. But it's getting so widespread, we're seeing more cancer. College girls. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association. How many college girls have HPV? 45%. Every other girl in college is infected. How is this even possible? This explains it all. Scientists had never done this before. Study the sexual activity of an entire public high school. Who had sex with who? Here's what they found out. 1,000 students. Half the school not having sex. Half the school was. But here's the kicker. Half of the students who were having sex didn't even know. They were all connected to each other in a web of 288 students. 100 of them had only had one other partner. But that's not the question. Who was she with before me? Who was he with before her? Well, they found out, mapping out the whole school, showing if you slept with anybody on this campus, theoretically, you could be in bed with up to 1/4 of the entire student body as a single active intercourse. This is how the thing is spreading. So why don't they talk to you about HPV? For one basic reason, safe sex is not safe. The virus is spread from mid-thigh to mid-abdomen contact. Any skin-to-skin sexual contact can transmit the virus. Hand-to-genital contact, oral contact. The government admits this. Centers for Disease Control says this. The available scientific evidence is not sufficient to recommend condoms as a primary prevention strategy for HPV. I read this, I'm like, wait a minute. You taught us safe sex for 30 years, now you're coming out with this? They said, today we have strategies to avoid HPV. I love this. Strategy number 1, don't have sex. Okay, we've covered that. Strategy number 2 is my favorite. If you choose to be sexually active and you don't want HPV, choose a partner who is not infected with HPV. Hey, cutting edge research. They have backed off safe sex because they know it's not true. And I'm not telling you this to scare you. You've got a right to know this. If you've been sexually active, look, please go get tested. A lot of this stuff get healed and put in the past. If you go to a clinic and they say, hey, just make sure to use protection next time, yeah, you remember that. So you can tell it to a friend of mine in California who used protection every single time. And how many pregnancies did he cause? 7. How many moms did he marry? None of them. This is not protection, it's child abuse. Real protection is purity. Protect your future spouse, kids, and yourself. Now, I hate discussing all that STD stuff, so where do you go from here? Guys, girls. Girls, take off after school. Go to some shopping mall. Why don't you buy a white candle? Let your husband light it on your wedding night as a sign of the purity you've maintained from this day to the day he lifts your veil. I know a girl got one of those purity rings. Her fiance proposed to her. She took the ring off and gave it to him. She said, I saved that for you like I saved myself for you. He thanked her for it and put it in his wallet. Without her knowing, he took it to the jeweler who was making his wedding band, had the jeweler melt the silver of her ring into the gold of his wedding band, and that's what he wears on his ring finger as her husband today. To realize, girls, there's something greater out there if you wait. On our honeymoon, we went to a place called Bora Bora in Tahiti, tropical paradise. We had an overwater bungalow, which means your hotel room is over the ocean, and you have a glass floor underneath, so you can see the fish and sharks. We're sitting there at midnight. She says, Jason, I have a present for you. I'm like, give me it. And I opened the box, and in it was this heart-shaped white candle with an untouched wick. as a sign of the purity she's been guarding from me before she even met me. So realize, girls, you are worth the wait. And from this point on, girls, don't you dare be afraid. Some boy is going to leave you unless you give him something sexual. Girls, turn it around. Let the boys be afraid. They're going to lose you unless they know how to respect you. And girls say, but Jason, there's no good guys out there anymore. If we do your whole chastity thing, what good man is going to be there to marry us? Nobody. We're just going to grow old, be alone, live in an apartment with 12 cats, and be miserable for the rest of our lives. And girls give up hope. And girls tell me, Jason, guys are jerks. They're pigs. They're dogs. They're animals. They're giraffes. They're antelope. 3 girls in Philadelphia came up to me. They're like, Jason, guys are jerks. I'm like, no, there's lots of good guys. And they're like, guys are jerks. I'm like, whoa, issues. I'm like,